those who missed it, we got some prequel content coming up on the agenda with the new battle droid. Really need to learn to not give topical things before these roster reviews, because I end up posting them like a week later. So anyone watching this is going to be like, what the hell, man? Like, we got that on Tuesday and this is Saturday, but whatever. So the review I'm doing today is actually somebody who saw me on Twitch on Sunday. It was first time viewer and kind of reached out to me on Discord afterwards. So let's see what we have here. I have in my top 20 some executors, 1 Leviathan, 1 Profundity. Right now I'm not 100% on the assault battles, okay, so I'll figure that out. I do know that I haven't completed one of them, some like the BH Imp Trooper and the Droid Imp units. Second last tier there, normally I am focused on GAC, but I do want to hear some from the other side in TB and TW aspects, because I do want to perform there too and help to get close to those relic stuff. I was working first on the game with, and get there. I wanted 501st full efficiency. After achieving it, I went more casually working on stuff for Galactic Republic and Executor. Now I'm planning on finishing Starkiller. I'm at, say, 30% there. I do want to build the rest of the team for Talon and Dash. After that, some ships with SLKR. So I'd say I'm 20% fun, 80% efficiency. I do see that from that point I can go into something ships. Hobby airships. What? Okay, well, we'll figure it out. GL, Psi. Why does this keep moving around? I don't know. Ship, probably C, LV. I hope that's not too much info. And if there's some more info needed, I'll gladly touch them up if needed. And yeah, I'd like to see what I can kind of involve in my account. So, first off, I'm definitely not a GAC-related player, a GAC-dominant player. But, look at this. I never put this thing up there. But it's not necessarily that I'm talking about things from a TB perspective. I am to some extent, but I'm also talking about the account from an ROI perspective. So, a return on investment. So what can often happen with players who may be a little too focused on one part of the game versus another side of the game is they might not be really thinking about how the account is working for them or providing materials for them. And that's really what I focus on, right? So you may be really GAC focused, but if you're not putting time and energy into some of the backbone teams, you're going to be progressing slower than other GAC focused players. So when we talk about things like ROI, I'm talking about ways that you're going to produce the materials that you're going to need in the long run. All right, so let's just kind of get an idea of what we have for our character. All right, one GL. Let's just see what we have. Bounty hunters. They might be doing CT2, but let's check on those Imp Troopers too. Okay, so Rebel Roundup, probably CT2. Forest Moon. I just want to check on Separatist droids first, but I'm going to say we're having some trouble here if not. Alright, Separatist droids. So Forest Moon, you can probably do CT2 as well. Sith, okay. Let's just see some First Order. I'm going to check this out again real quick. Alright, so First Order, we're probably doing Places of Power, CT2 right now. And if not, then once we have SLKR, we'll be able to do CT3. So I'm not necessarily too worried about this one. Oh boy, okay. Well, it's only a 4 million account, so it's not that big of a deal if I'm being honest. Phoenix. Okay, Phoenix are under geared. That's completely fine. Night Sisters. These are my bread and butter lately. People have been asking a lot about them. Alright. So we got NS 0. We have Inquiz 0. Let's see what we have with the Rebels. Ooh, alright. Do we even have CLS unlocked? No. Wow. That's crazy. Alright, I feel like I have not seen an account without CLS in a long, long time. Oh man. And Jedi. Okay, Jedi. Alright, so Jedi, I'm gonna say CT2. I know that Jedi Master Kenobi struggles with CT3 on that because a big part of it involves, Jedi Knight Luke and working with Jedi Knight Luke. So I'm gonna say CT2. We're not in necessarily terrible shape with our assault battles, but I just want to kind of check on our ships and see where we're at here. Alright, we have a 7-star Executor. We're in Chromium. We're hitting 12. We're kind of going up and down. Alright, so first thing, just based on this up and down that's happening, if you're not already reaching out to your fleet shard, 100% you need to be reaching out to your fleet shard and chatting with them. I have a guide on that. It's about 4 minutes long. It's super easy. If you need it, let me know. I'll link it to you when I send this to you on Discord. It seems like there's some inconsistency that can either be because you're fighting for top slots with someone, or it could just be that you're somebody that doesn't have time around their fleet climbs. And if that's the case, then that's understandable. All of us have different time constraints, but I would definitely recommend maybe reconsidering when your payout is if you're unable to climb consistently, whereas there might be a time where you are able to climb consistently. And if there is and you do want to change it, I would reach out to your fleet shard first, just see if those time slots are available so that you can maximize your effectiveness there. It is a huge help if you're working with the people that instead of challenging them, because everybody on the top can kind of get close to maximum, right? Because not everybody can hit one every day, but we kind of work through rotations so that nobody's wasting crystals, which is super important. And it seems like you should be able to, based on what you're telling me here, you should be able to hit in the top 5 fairly consistently. So one of those two things is the case. All right, let's just check this out here. Kylo Ren, obviously we got to get him because we bought the Lightspeed bundle. Or at least I'm assuming we bought the Lightspeed bundle is what I should say. So 100% you should be spearheading Kylo Ren. I don't know if I'd necessarily... I think when I looked at Finalizer it was 4-star, but I was kind of just glossing over it, so I'm just going to kind of double back on that. If this will ever work. Really love this site. It's amazing, but sometimes it pisses me off. Okay. Let's just double check. Okay, so Finalizer's 4-star. Here's the thing. A lot of people who buy these bundles, they're in a crazy Zeta deficit. And if you're finding yourself really struggling with Zetas right now, then maybe don't worry about speeding up that grind. It'll take you maximum 12 weeks, but I'm hopeful that you've probably had Finalizer for a few weeks so you can build up your materials around it. If you feel like, hey, I've got enough Zetas, then maybe consider refreshing it once each event turnaround, and that'll take it down to 4 to 6 weeks total to be able to start that ticket grind. We kind of want to get on that as soon as possible. Okay, 2200, interesting. All right, 16. Jabba's 2000. Profundity. Alright, I just want to kind of check one more thing out that I didn't look at before. We have Wampa. First of all, if you're a GAC favoring player, I would 100% be investing in Wampa up to R3 at an absolute minimum. Mine's R6. I've seen people with R8 ones. I've seen people stick at R5. But I would say at least R3 and pop that Omicron on. She is a one girl wrecking machine. Blows shit up. And some teams have built things around it now that where it's not as much as it was in the past, but I still find a use for every single GAC round. Highly recommend doing that in the very short term as a GAC player. Okay, and Hermit Yoda. Now, we get into a very, consistently I see, I'm always recommending Sith Eternal Emperor first as like a first GL. I know it'll really be your third GL, and you're closer to Sith Eternal Emperor than you are to Jedi Master Luke, but I think just as an overall ROI perspective, you'll actually benefit more from Jedi Master Luke, even if it's going to take you a little bit longer to get him. What you basically want to do is build into your CLS team, right? Because you're going to need Commander Luke Skywalker in order to get Jedi Master Luke. So you're going to want to build into that team, and Jedi Master Luke's grind itself with Chupio is going to kind of like compact the rest of that team for you. When you have Jedi Master Luke, you should have the components to bring military might from literally a 0 to a CT2 to a CT3, depending on if you decide to bring the whole team to around R5. If you're struggling, you can actually pull Chewbacca out of the team, put Mon Mothma in there, who will be R5 for Jedi Master Luke. Use that event special a bunch of times in the beginning and then just hit auto. It should work as long as you've decently modded them. So that'll give you another component of Chirotech each month, Zetas each month, finisher pieces, the not impulses, the injector handles each month. I've literally never had to farm injectors ever once just from the ROI of these events. That's going to give you another avenue to get those things. But at the same time, you're also going to have Jedi Knight Luke, which is going to allow you to do CT3 on Ground War. Now, you're probably already doing CT2, so it's not this huge boost that it would be otherwise. But you're going to utilize the teams that you're getting here pretty often, right? That CLS team is going to really help you in GAC. It's going to really help you in Conquest as being a super solid Conquest team with Han and like TM gains. It's also going to help you in territory wars, and while I don't use them often in territory battles, in those neutral territories, that CLS squad can be incredibly useful. Some people use them on the light side battles. I don't find them as useful there, but I've found them infinitely useful in the middle battles. Now, Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Knight Luke, not the best defensive GLs in GAC, but I also have to remind myself that you are much earlier in the game than I am, so you'll probably find a lot more utility than I do. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're weak. They're very strong on offense, and depending on the datacrons that are rolling, they're super strong there. But Jedi Master Luke is also amazing in Conquest. He is the end-all, be-all Conquest unit, which is going to allow you to kind of build towards Conquest characters a lot quicker. Okay, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds in terms of you're getting the things that I want you to have, but you're also getting the things that you've kind of outlined as being really solid for yourself. Now, Sith Eternal Emperor with Bane is probably going to be amazing next month, but realistically, looking at your account and looking what you have available to you, I just don't imagine that you're going to get him in the next couple of months, and that's going to be more of a long-term goal. So I think Jedi Master Luke is a little bit safer. Now, what goes on with Jedi Master Luke is also a couple things. Number one, it's going to help you build into profundity just a little bit, okay? Which is important because it looks like, and I didn't check, but unless you've paid crystals for it, I'm kind of willing to bet here, you probably don't have Malgus, right? Which means you're not working towards Leviathan right now. And we're going to see a meta shift in the next 6 to 7 months, and it's far more likely that Profundity is going to be useful there versus Executor, which will be 3 years out at that point, and that is a huge differential, right? So you kind of want to have a backup plan with Profundity, and you don't have to bring it past like 5 stars right away, because you don't need it necessarily right away, but you do want to get as many of those stars in for free as you possibly can. The other added bonus of going Jedi Master Luke is that you can start to work towards Jabba, who seems a daunting 2,000 carbonate circuit boards away. And I really only look at the carbonate circuit boards because it gives me a better general picture. It seems daunting, but you're already building into that with Jedi Master Luke by getting Jedi Knight Luke, right? So you're going to kind of be farming one of the harder parts of Jabba just by farming Jedi Master Luke. And Jabba is really good in TB. He has a featured node in every single portion of TB. He's really good in Conquest, not just for clearing really tough battles, but if there is a I don't remember what the feat is called, but where you can't use any Jedi or Sith. He's really, really great for that as well. Obviously, he's a Galactic Legend, so you can't use it on those nodes. But one of the super important things is Smuggler's Run 2, and Smuggler's Run 2 is one of the best ROI events for mods that you can possibly get your hands on, and that's really important as a PvP player, right? Because you want to be able to build your mods as much as possible, and that's going to provide you a lot of the material to get to the 6E to 6A range, which is going to, again, give you some of the ROI that I want, because your Rebel Roundup will go to CT3 as well. But it's going to give you the ROI that you want, right, as a GAC player. So we're talking about building up CLS. Well, first of all, I should say building up SLKR, just because you're so close to that. We're talking about building up the CLS squad, going towards Jedi Knight Luke, into Jedi Master Luke, thinking about Profundity and Jabba at that point. And we're looking at a timeline of that's probably like 5 to 8 months, somewhere in there, depending on how active you are as a player, depending on what you're willing to spend, whether free or otherwise. And at that point, the game is probably going to see a pretty significant shift in terms of, one, the fleets, but also, two, we're probably going to start moving towards the next raid and the next GL. So I wouldn't recommend planning too much further ahead, right? So once we kind of get to that point, you're going to bloat yourself about 1 million, if not more, GP. And you'll have a lot more avenues open to you and a lot more resource generation open to you. One other thing that I might recommend just a little bit, depending on how many credits you actually have available to you, is start slowly leveling up some of your characters who may be like level 1 right now. Even if you just bring up to level 50, right, which doesn't take that many credits, because the equation is very top loaded to like 65 to 85. Just because it's going to build your GP, which is going to help your guild in TB, and they're going to like you a lot more for that. I would not go too crazy with that. The idea is you want to slowly do it over time. When you have a lot of credits, maybe do 3 or 4 characters. Okay, hold off when you have a lot of credits, maybe do 3 or 4 characters. It's just going to kind of give you more options later on, so it's not such a daunting task as you get further into the end game, right? So with that said, hopefully that helps you out a lot and kind of gives you an idea of where I'm coming from, but also why I think it's really important from your perspective as more of a PvP player. And if you have any questions, continue to hit me up on Discord. Peace out.